I don't understand what Bill Gates' plan in Africa is. Must you bring all of this to Africa? If not for our government in Nigeria that is allowing us to just be swallowing and taking in different things, why can't you reject Bill Gates and his modifications? You are bringing in modified mosquitoes to fight real mosquitoes. Why? Bill Gates does not have the interest of Africa at heart. If truly all this is modified meat, modified mosquito, modified this and that is truly beneficial to Africans, I promise you Africans will not smell it. We are not going to see it if it is truly beneficial to us. But because it is not beneficial, because they will reject it in America and other countries, that is why he is forcing it on Africans, because our leaders, they don't have a say. Anything, bring it, swallow it, we go, they chop and they go. Just imagine Nigeria accepted GMO beans. For how long we have been eating that kind of beans, we didn't even know. Ibrahim Traoré has the interest of his people at heart. That is why he is rejecting these things. I just wish other African leaders would take his step.
Welcome back to Gist Line. Now, Ibrahim Traoré is rejecting Bill Gates' mosquito project, while countries like Nigeria are still scrambling to buy anti-malarial drugs. Imagine that. In Burkina Faso, Traoré hit pause on the genetically engineered mosquito scheme, effectively saying, "We are not your test lab." Meanwhile, in Nigeria, governments and households are busy paying billions just to keep malaria treatable with the old-fashioned medicines. Well, let's listen to what others have to say about this, and I'll be right back.
Faso. I told you, Ibrahim Traoré doesn't care about your check. It doesn't matter how much you write on the check. He is going to reject your check respectfully. Why? Because he puts people first before money. Now he is ordering to destroy all the lab and all the modified mosquitoes. I mean, I was waiting for the African leaders to stand up against all this charade of Bill Gates' experiment in Africa. Why choosing Africa? So what do they think? Let me know. Make sure you like the video, you share, and you tell me what do you think. That's why Ibrahim Traoré, he is the president of Africa, like it or not.
We know Africa, we are suffering from malaria. This thing has been released even in February, according to reports. Some were released in Ghana. They never consulted them because they know very well that if they should consult them, because they are military and they are not democratically elected, that they can control them, they will definitely say no. So they went to this village and released 75,000. And the people are protesting against this because malaria is something that is worrying us. What is the agenda of these people to manufacture these things and bring them into Africa? These people are targeting us in every field. But the so-called leaders that we have will always sit down aloof and watch these people. They have released these things in different African nations, but none of them came out to voice out. Some of the leaders were aware that this was the agenda. So we all stand against this thing. You cannot go and develop these things in the lab and come and impose them on Africans. We are guinea pigs to these people. Africa, we have a long way to go. But we say no, we stand with Burkina Faso. Lives matter. It's so sad how these so-called leaders in the democratic elected are allowing these people to maneuver and turn us into anything to please them. How can somebody sit in a lab and develop these things and bring them to Africa? And the leaders will watch these people to spread these things. But I don't blame them, I blame with the youth. Because we are the ones that are supporting them. The little data you get, you come online and be defending them. But Burkina Faso are all in all. The king is saying that we don't need these things. They should allow us to be. If they have developed it, America is there. Bill Gates should spread these mosquitoes there. Let Americans live with the mosquitoes. They want it and they develop it. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. It's so painful.
So Burkina Faso has decided that the malaria program that Bill Melinda Gates brought to their country, they are ending it. Not that there is no malaria in Burkina Faso, but they feel like they should take over the charge because since they've been funding malaria, it has not ended. All right, this same guy does genetically modified mosquitoes. He breeds them and he can come to your country and open them up, and the mosquitoes will go and keep breeding with the ones that are already in your country, and those ones will have the dodes that is needed to infuse in your body, is especially the female mosquitoes that multiply. They have the dose that can be infused in your body to cause malaria. But look at Ibrahim Traoré, a young man, has already seen through all the shenanigans.
Guys, wonder shall never end. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, has chased Brigade away from Burkina Faso. Now, let me tell you what happened. What happened is that it was said that before, Brigade had been trying to sponsor Burkina Faso to fight against malaria. You guys know, since all this while, Brigade have been trying to introduce GMO to African country. And don't forget that all the country in Western land, they have rejected this GMO. Some African presidents have accepted because they don't care about their people, they care for the dollar. Now, what Brigade wanted to do is that he wanted to do something like artificial mosquito, genetic mosquito that will fight the real mosquito. So it will be genetic mosquito against the natural mosquito to fight malaria. And the Burkina Faso have come together to think about it. How can other country, other Western world who have really moved forward in terms of technology ahead of Africa have voted to reject this idea? And Burkina Faso asked themselves, why are we doing this to ourselves? Is it a good idea? Finally, Ibrahim Traoré has said no to Brigade, and he had chased Brigade away from Burkina Faso. Now, the question is, why is it that when situations like this occur, the only thing they can do is to shift the idea to Africa? If they introduce the best aircraft in the world, they don't go to Africa to test it. If they introduce the best thing in this world, nobody call Africa to test it. But when they introduce sickness in this world, they want to introduce it to Africa. African people, when are you going to stand for yourself? This question is for the whole Africa, no matter where you are living in. When are you going to be called human like other people? You keep on receiving help from people that doesn't want to give you help. In other words, they want to give you what you don't want. So guys, I want you to answer this question.
According to statistics, Nigeria remains the global epicenter of malaria, accounting for around 27% of global cases with about 55 to 68 million infections and nearly 200,000 deaths every year. And this is devastating. Economically, malaria isn't just a health crisis, it bleeds the country dry. Estimates show $1.1 billion annually lost in productivity and health costs. Families are feeling the pinch. Every basic anti-malaria treatment now costs between 2,000 naira to 3,000. And recently, I think to even get drugs like Amatem and the rest is very, very expensive in Nigeria. So this is not just about wallet pain. It's a public health center. Malaria is very expensive. To treat malaria in Nigeria now is very expensive. And Nigeria spends just $1 per person as risk of malaria treatment. One of the lowest per capita spends globally. And nearly all of that comes from international donors like the Global Fund and USAID. Yet, despite countless local pharmaceutical companies, Nigeria still imports drugs over which is worth 200 billion for malaria and 600 billion for antibiotics every year. That's according to statistics. And this is wild. And there is one domestic manufacturer like Swiffer recently got WHO pre-qualification for an anti-malarial preventive drug, a step in the right direction but not yet enough to turn the tide. So you've got this sharp contrast. Trying back Burkina Faso now, he's saying no thanks, I'll opt out on your gene editing experiments. And while people like Nigerian presidents, they are still in survival mode, just trying to keep up with the traditional medicine. They pray they are real. And sometimes if you even buy these drugs from other pharmacy, you'll be scared. Is this really working? So Traore's message is very clear. Sovereignty matters. He's not anti-innovation, but this kind of innovation, which is led by foreigners and rolled out with limited local control, reeks of neo-colonialism overreach. Are we ready to risk messing with the ecosystem without robust community consent or just local oversight? That is what Traoré is challenging. Meanwhile, let's also talk about Nigeria. Nigeria isn't in that position by choice. The country's health spending is chronically low. Most progress relies on donors whose funding is shrinking. Domestic budgets are just stretched thin. Though there has been some effort to respond, the government recently allocated 700 billion naira in its 2025 budget for HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria interventions. That's a solid move. But the system is fragile, and that money has to stretch across many diseases and programs. Now, for Burkina Faso, malaria there remains a serious health issue too, let's not lie about it, which is responsible for about 43% of their health consultations and roughly 22% of deaths. In response, Traoré's government has invested in community health workers and improved access to diagnostics and traditional anti-menism, which is something good. So the rejection of the GM mosquito isn't a rejection of fighting malaria. It's a demand for locally owned solutions guided by national priorities and ethnics. So let's face it, the Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation has done incredible things in public health globally. But when they are reprogramming mosquito wherever started, is less about medicine and more about altering their ecosystems, and that's a different ball game. Without deep local buy-in and transparency, such projects only deepen mistrust. Traoré's stand, as we all know, forces a tough question: should Africa outsource the design and control of its health strategies? Nigerian stance feels passive, reactive spending and buying drugs on the fly while cutting deals and hoping for investment to trickle. Both situations underscore a broader issue. Too often, African states react rather than set the agenda. Traoré's rejection might rub some the wrong way, but it broadcasts one idea, loud and proud: if we don't own our own solutions, whoever takes charge might not have our best interests at heart, and that is what this man is fighting for. At the end of the day, malaria still kills hundreds of thousands here. We need breakthroughs and vaccines. Heck, there's even promising new baby-friendly malaria drugs like Coartem, baby being rolled out regionally. But the path forward has to balance innovation with autonomy, science with sovereignty, and urgency with care. Whether it's Traoré or Nigeria, the future of health in Africa must be shaped from the continent's. Now let's listen to what others have to say about this. But before then, please kindly like, share, and subscribe.
Our Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso, our leader, on Friday, Burkina Faso halted a project backed by US billionaire Bill Gates that has seen genetically modified mosquitoes released in a bid to eradicate malaria and other insect-borne diseases. Target Malaria, funded by Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, is the latest NGO to come under pressure from the country's military ruler. Yes, we like it like that. We love him. We love him. I mean, the captain is bringing sanity to the military. Sanity, because we are used to military people now also kai. So he's giving us another side of military. It was ordered to stop all activities, the government said in a communique, I don't know. Anyway, let me break it down. You know that Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda Gates, they have this NGO, because they always come under NGO. That's how to eradicate malaria in Africa is to build a genetically modified mosquito to counter the organic mosquitoes. It makes sense, right? It makes a lot of sense to a complete way. But this is how leadership works. You tell us something, okay, we have heard you, but hold on, let's do our own research. Let's do our own research. We are human beings. We are not supposed to be like, we are not supposed to be like that kind of beings where we say you carry anything where you carry, give us. We swallow hook, line, and sinker. So our leader halted that particular project. Ezigbo mmadụ number one. Bill Gates or Ezigbo mmadụ number one. He wants to counter malaria and other diseases or other insects by building a genetically modified mosquito. Imagine the kind of genetically modified insects that they build and release on our farms in Africa that actually destroy so many organic seeds. And they're now telling us that we now give you seed that cannot be destroyed by insects. Come and buy these as seed that cannot be destroyed by insects. This is what leadership is about. This is example of a good leader. What leadership? This is what all of us as Africans, the kind of figures that we should be emulating. Not to go online and be seeing men where they bench nyach, where another man they put bola inside. All those ones are our role model. This is the kind of people that all of us should be emulating, both old and young, because gray hair no be intelligence. Gray hair has not, idiots grow old as well. Thank you so much, the captain. Thank you. Continue sharing videos of him, not just me. Every time you see videos of his good work, share, Kwano, please. Thank you.
A leader wants to lead his country well, he should avoid these Western powers and what they are doing. Because if you come to Nigeria, our own president here literally awarded the guy, while some other presidents are really doing what is necessary for their citizens' survival, you know. But our president is just pretty much their puppet and all that. Because Traoré doesn't care what Bill Gates thinks or what the Western power thinks, but I know what most of these things will bring a lot of attacks and all that to him. But I do believe he'll stay strong and still understand what these people are doing and try to stay strong in all of this, because these people are not the friends of Africa. If you're modifying Mosquito, and why don't you test all those things in your country? Why do you want to be charitable to us? Why? We don't even want it, but you're doing it for us. And there's a time when I think Putin said that the Westerners use Africa as a testing lab for their vaccine and all those bullshit, you know.
Ibrahim Traoré said no to Bill Gates. And it's like Ibrahim Traoré is the only president in Africa that has 2 feet to stand up and boldly say no to a man like Bill Gates. And why Ibrahim Traoré said no to Bill Gates, let me tell you. Burkina Faso say no to Bill Gates' plan of creating modified species of mosquitoes. Burkina Faso military government under Ibrahim Traoré has ordered the immediate halt of an initiative backed by US billionaire Bill Gates, and we all know what that means, to employ genetically modified insects to cure malaria and other mosquito-borne ailments. What do you understand? It's like Bill Gates has a lab where he will create some superheroes mosquitoes. You know, in these movies, you know, they have the villain and they have the superhero. So Bill Gates has the lab to create a superhero mosquitoes, and then he will bring them to Africa, just release them in the air. In the night, there will be battle between mosquitoes, the genetically mosquitoes from Bill Gates and the original mosquitoes from God, the one that God created. So the Bill Gates mosquito will be fighting God mosquito, and like the God mosquito is the villain mosquito, and Bill Gates mosquito is the superhero mosquito. That is his initiative. Do you actually fall for it? Like in the night when those mosquitoes come, they sit on your body like they want to bite you, and then the mosquitoes of Bill Gates will be, no, you should not. They fight. It's crazy, bro. This video is maybe 8 minutes or more long, but if you listen to it, you will not regret. But Ibrahim Traoré actually said no. Now, Ibrahim Traoré is the best president. He's the wisest and he's the boldest president in Africa for now. You can defend your government or your president all you want. I'm not in argue with that. I'm not a Burkina Faso citizen, but what I'm here is that we all face the truth, and what Ibrahim Traoré is doing is the good for his people. That is why he's trying to build in hospitals and modify those hospitals, and also train the doctors from Burkina Faso. Everything should be in Burkina Faso about Burkina Faso, not from outsiders. Now let's come to Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a tech billionaire. We know about Microsoft. Bill Gates is the one that actually founded Microsoft, and now he's into climate change and he's into pharmaceutical. But he's so much focused on pharmaceutical is that Bill Gates can see what will happen from now to 10 years. Like he will predict a pandemic in 10 years. And why he only concerned about health, he will not predict no other thing. He will only predict on sickness. And he is into pharmaceutical, and he will start
creating this medicine to meet with the 10 years prediction. And when the 10 years actually reach, that will actually happen. You will see those sickness he was talking about. Let's take example for COVID-19. Bill Gates actually talked about COVID-19. He predicted, the interviews there, you can go check it out if you think I'm lying. He actually predicted, and his pharmaceutical was producing the drugs. Now, let me give you the difference. He said he want to save Africa. Now he's focused on saving Africa. He want to create mosquitoes. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, when actually there was a pandemic that halted the entire planet, and everyone was stressed, looking for medicine. And according to the way how the sick was during that time, Africa was the best place for the sick to survive because we didn't have the means. It's only by grace of God, because according to what they said, the virus cannot survive on heat. And Africa, we have this dry season. And this is the only thing that actually saved Africa, if it's true. Yeah? And finally, they managed to produce some drugs to save the world. What happened? How many vaccines reach Africa? Now this is the same person that want to save Africa, but when there was a crisis, how many drop of vaccine do you people actually receive in Africa? None of it. All the vaccine they produce remain in abroad for their people. He didn't say, oh no, I so much care for Africa, African people are dying. No. His concern was his people. And this is the best example you can take. And let's take for Magufuli, the bulldozer, the late president of Tanzania. When he took blood of animals, he tested his doctors. He said they should check the blood if they actually have COVID-19. And he writes human names on them. And finally, they came with the results and they said, yes, these people, all of them, they are positive of COVID-19. And that is the time when Magufuli knew they are lying. He fired all of them and then he declared corona free in Tanzania. What happened next? A month later, they unalive him. Madagascar, they don't wait for Bill Gates industrial stuff. They just go and root some tree and boil the leaf and water. They drank it. That's what helped them in Madagascar. And Madagascar was the first country to actually start curing this corona with this native roots. So if you are actually sitting down there and saying Bill Gates want to help Africa or he's helping Africa, Bob Marley said, I don't want to wait in vain, but I'm sorry to tell you, your wait is in vain. So when did we have to realize goodness from these people are no goodness? Last month, or maybe few weeks ago, Bill Gates is promoting another program in Kenya to prevent women 8 years not to be pregnant. 8 years. And you are saying this is good thing. Bro, tell me what you think.
We done had no problem till the Bill Gates Foundation showed up. Now all our children crazy and funny and everything else. You got Vietnamese saying we never had autism till this man came over and started poking folk. And then you got actually sane people that sitting up here telling me, hey man, you better listen to them folk. I said, you can't be from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Cause in them years, black people didn't even want to take an aspirin. So to listen and look at the show, just go back and look at, they rolled out all these presidents in front of the country. Roll their arm up. Obama, you right there. Yeah. Lead your folk right to the fire.
Bill Gates is still producing artificial meat, synthetic meat, meat produced in the lab. He doesn't want anything natural anymore. The movement for synthetic foods and lab-grown meat has become prevalent in the USA. In 2021, Bill Gates said he is in support of rich countries shifting to lab-grown meat. He wants all countries to eat artificial meat. He said all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef. You can get used to the taste difference, and they are going to make it taste even better over time. First, they produce GMO foods, which they will supply to the whole world. They try to convince us that GMO foods is better than natural foods. Now they produce artificial meat and artificial fish in the lab. They still convince us that artificial meat is better than natural meat. People need to stop him. Very soon he will produce artificial chicken, artificial goats, artificial cow, artificial food. Everything will become artificial. We will even become artificial human beings. Somebody needs to stop Bill Gates before he do more harm than good.
C'est ça qu'on appelle être un président responsable qui aime et protège son peuple. Le 22 août dernier, le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré a rejeté un projet de Target Malaria de la fondation de Bill et Melinda Gates, qui consiste à introduire des moustiques génétiquement modifiés pour éradiquer la malaria. Aïe, y a quoi? On se rappelle du discours de Maître Gims. Il avait dénoncé ici. C'est encore frais dans nos têtes, on se rappelle. Alors, le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré a dit non. Il a dit que le Burkina Faso est un pays souverain. Et ce n'est pas un laboratoire à ciel ouvert où vous allez venir et c'est vous qui décidez. En fait, vous ne demandez même pas la permission, rien du tout. Vous utilisez vos ONG là, ils viennent, c'est eux qui décident qu'on va aller faire dans tel village des essais, des trucs et tout et tout. On veut pas où? On veut nos moustiques là qui nous piquent là, parce que vos moustiques vous allez ramener là, on ne sait pas s'ils vont nous faire quoi. Donc voilà. Et dernièrement aussi, la présidente namibienne a rejeté un autre projet de la même fondation de Bill et Melinda Gates qui consiste à mettre des dispositifs intra-utérins hormonaux qui évitent la grossesse durant une période qui peut aller jusqu'à 8 ans, s'il vous plaît. Mais moi, je ne comprends pas pourquoi la démographie africaine vous dérange autant. L'Afrique n'est pas surpeuplée, mais plutôt sous-peuplée par rapport à sa superficie. Il y a de la place. Il y a de la place. Il y a de la place. Si c'est ça là qui vous dérange, il y a de la place. Ne vous inquiétez pas pour nous. Et il y a vieux Bilingeti au Linginini. Il y a encore là l'Italie qui vient de rejeter le projet des viandes artificielles. Déjà, nous ne savons même plus ce que nous avons dans nos assiettes des viandes artificielles. Là, l'Italie a refusé. Ah boy, vieux Bilingeti au Linginini papa na mokili.